ECU?
R.
Do you bleed purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors?
Hoist the colors!
It's time for the most in-depth look into the world of ECU athletics. Welcome to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Here's Stephen Igo.
Welcome in. It is Wednesday, March 4th, edition of Hoist the Colors. We've got ECU Baseball in action this evening. Wilmington, North Carolina will be the venue, Brooks Field. It is the longest running rivalry in ECU baseball history. This will be the 152nd meeting tonight at 6 o'clock. ECU leads the series 86-65 all time per ECU's record book. So looking forward to tonight's game. And the man who will be there covering it for Hoist the Colors, he's in studio today. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more. We've got Philip Pilkington producing, but James Giglio is in studio, and he is the only person who remembered to wear pink. James, you could have reminded us, man, but it's a good look.
I wanted to see if whose memory was the sharpest, and I gotta be honest. I woke up this morning, I was going through my laundry, and I saw the pink quarter zip, and I was like, oh wait, we're supposed to be wearing pink today. And I was like, I was gonna fire off a text, but then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna see who actually remembered, and clearly no one did. So only one in pink.
I will say I have a pink bubble gum on my shirt. This is a King Griffey Jr. shirt, probably my favorite shirt to wear, honestly.
I was wondering what that was.
The backwards hat, the 24 necklace, and on the back it says your favorite player's favorite player. And he's the reason I'm a Mariners fan, so I felt like that was appropriate. So I wear it every now and then. Philip Pilkington, he is also not wearing pink. He is behind the glass. Philip, how you doing today?
I'm good. You know, the best part of your get up there, Igo, is the shoes that match.
Yeah, I actually coordinated that today because I'm going to the gym after this. I'm like, you know what? I got some bright colored shoes.
Some green. I think you and I are actually, you're probably wearing a newer model than mine because these aren't even the newest ones I have. These are like my old running shoes, but I think we got the same shoes on. You've probably got the newer model because those look pretty new. Have you
these are brand new. Like I ordered them a week ago.
Okay.
Some Asics. So
yeah.
Free plug for Asics. They're good workout shoes. By the way, intern Isaiah, is he wearing a college dropout Kanye West shirt?
Yes, he is.
That thing is fire as well.
Does it have pink on it?
It does not have pink on it. It's got red.
So I feel like the T-shirt game and the pink game strong today. Who knows what Philip's doing, but at least he's here.
Yeah, he got a collared Nike golf shirt on and some shorts here. I look like I'm about to go hit the links after the show.
If you want to see it, tune in on the stream, YouTube, Facebook, X. We're live. I think Facebook is having some trouble right now. I can't pull it up, but either way, we are potentially live there.
It says on my end we've been live for 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
It may just be my computer. Also, check us out, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. All right, we're going to talk ECU baseball. Today begins a statement week, I feel like, at UNCW, then at Coastal. But before we do that, I also have another bone to pick with Philip. So I pull up Instagram last night, checking out stories, and I see Philip Pilkington at Jack Coombs Field. Probably my least favorite sporting venue I've covered a game at. This is Duke's baseball stadium. So I'm like, all right, they got to be playing somebody good. There's no reason Philip would drive to Durham to go to Jack Coombs Field, which, by the way, the actual field looks pretty pristine, but if you actually go there, the stadium's kind of a dump, although they have done some work. And I look it up, they're playing Gardner-Webb. So, Philip, what was the occasion? We know that, obviously, you follow Duke. I give you credit for that, for being a true Duke guy. But Jack Coombs Field on a Tuesday, man?
So they are doing some more work down the left field line. I think they're putting in some more seating. So what happened is I was on the phone with Patrick on Monday, and he gets a text like, hey, can you call this game for ESPN Plus? He's like, oh, man, I'm going to go call this Duke game, right? Like, okay. I was like, I'll go. Can I ride with you? And he's like, yeah, you can ride with me. I'm leaving from Greenville. In typical Patrick Johnson fashion, who never actually comes to Greenville, he stayed in Kinston and did not come to Greenville. So I was like, man, I'm going to drive by myself. I don't have anybody to go with. So I want to text Kaysen. Kaysen's like, nah, man, I'm in Greensboro. I can't go. I was like, man, that was one of my two ends. Let me text my other one, right? So I texted my friend Casey. He used to be an intern here. He used to work ops. A lot of people at ECU know Casey. And Casey is a huge baseball fan. He will watch any baseball game, anytime, anywhere, any place. I'm like, man, if I come by and scoop you, will you go to this Duke Gardner-Webb game?
Please go to Gardner-Webb Duke.
Yeah. He's like, well, shoot. The alternative is sitting around watching spring training ball. I've been doing that for like 2 weeks. So he decides to come, and then so we went to the game, hung out. I've seen Casey, sparingly recently, but not like hung out with him. So it was good to hang out with him because he was working at Presbyterian. He pretty much had Drew Steele's job, but at Presbyterian for a while. So I haven't seen him as much the last few years. We used to be roommates. And then we had dinner with Wags. So it was great. I also found out, just to take shots at Wags because we can, he's not here to defend himself. This kid, when he was a kid, he told me he did not drink Kool-Aid or Hawaiian Punch or any of like those. I had a drink, and I was like, Wags, I know you don't really drink, but you should try this. It tastes like blue Hawaiian Punch. And he's like, man, I didn't drink that stuff as a kid.
Wags, by the way, who was in the chat, he had already asked Philip where he went after the game. So now we know. Wags has got to have the most basic diet of anybody I've ever met. It's like,
well, that's fine, but like, how did he not drink Kool-Aid or Hawaiian Punch? Like, everybody drank that stuff as a kid.
Now he's mad that you're taking shots. So
well, I thought he wasn't here to defend himself.
He's here.
No, he's
there we go,
chat.
Wags.
He is in the chat.
Thanks for coming to dinner with us last night.
By the way, who won the game?
Blue Devils.
Okay.
In a run rule.
How would you rate the atmosphere?
-4.
I was like, were you guys the only people there? Like,
no, but when I say we could have counted everybody, like there was probably like 30 people there, and I'm not like exaggerating. I would say it was somewhere between 25 and 35 people there.
If you want to see Jack Coombs Field for yourself and have more of a reason to go,
March 27th.
There you go. ECU at Duke. Pirates will play there.
Wags will be in attendance, I've been told.
That is true. And it is an interesting setup. So at least they're doing some work there. All right, ECU baseball discussion. Let's get into that. And you will be covering the game tonight, Wilmington, ECU. I'm going down for Coastal Carolina this weekend, so looking forward to I've got Statement Week. ECU baseball begins Statement Week at UNCW. To me, like your 4 games on the road, you got your in-state rival, the team that you've historically had the most games with all time, James, and then you go to Coastal, who ended your season last year, and yeah, they're banged up, but at the same time, this feels like a prove-it type week for ECU, so before we get into tonight's game specifically, do you agree with that? Is that a fair statement to make, being that it's only March 4th?
Yeah, I was actually going to bring that up, that I feel like we're playing, this is going to be, obviously I think this is going to be the toughest week we've had in this young season, I guess we can say, at this point, but because you got UNC Wilmington and Coastal, 2 schools. Like Coastal's not an in-state rival technically, but I mean they're pretty much one. They're like the distant cousin. So I think we have 2 schools that I don't want to say ECU's are Super Bowl. They're 2 schools that like to get up for ECU, like to get out of bed for ECU. UNC Wilmington specifically, Coastal's going to want to beat us, and I know they've been dealing with some injuries. They just lost to State last night, but definitely a tough 4 games coming up for ECU. So I think that is a fair assessment.
All right, we'll get more into what we think ECU needs to do this week to kind of have a solid showing or a great showing, respectable showing. But tonight's game, we know Ryan Towers is going to start for ECU. I would assume Brett Antolik is probably going to pitch in some regard, and then maybe Nick Moran, Sean Jenkins. We'll see how the game unfolds. UNCW starting at lefty as well, who threw 5 innings. I think allowed 3 runs last week. Charleston Southern, he's got pretty solid numbers. So you covered this game last year. It's always interesting in Wilmington. I don't know what it is, man. There's always it's always a close game. It's always a little choppy. But it was Boucher who hit the Grand Slam last year.
Yeah.
And extras to win it for ECU. So what are you expecting tonight?
The story with midweek baseball is always going to be, whose pitching staff, whose bullpen is going to be more reliable down the stretch. And I haven't watched UNC Wilmington this year, but just looking at their box scores, their
7-5.
Their pitching staff, they're similar spot to ECU, but their pitching staff, especially their midweek guys, have been pretty reliable. I think the guy starting tonight, he's had a couple of decent showings. The guy they have started against Duke, I don't think he's going to play tonight. He played Sunday, but he's gone some distance. And the key for midweek games, specifically with bullpens and stuff, is whose arms are going to be more reliable, whose pitchers are going to be able to eat up more of those middle innings, right? The 4th, 5th, and 6th inning. So I think what I want to see from ECU tonight to try and win is, obviously who's going to go out there and show that they're reliable. Ryan Towers is getting the start. He didn't have the greatest start to his season this season, so it'll be see if he can have a bounce back. But I trust Sean Jenkins. I trust Nick Moran, and I'm not really worried about our bats. I'd say maybe at this point, I think some of the guys since that Friday Carolina game have come along nicely. And I mean, I know they got blanked on Sunday, but I think that was more of a Western Carolina, just had a great defensive performance.
Alex Sobel, the start for UNCW, 6'5", left-hander. He's pitched 7 2/3, striking out 7, walking 3, allowing just 3 hits. And again, Towers, he's been good in the first inning of his games, and then struggles after that. And he's coming off the flu, so we'll see how he looks. I would expect a lot of pitchers to throw for ECU. UNCW on the mound. Again, they haven't played the toughest schedule, but they have held teams with a 2.97 ERA and 133 strikeouts against 46 walks and just a 188 batting average against through 12 games. So it seems like their pitching staff's pretty good, offense solid as well. And we know that this is going to be a dogfight. It always is. And ECU, if they don't bring the juice, like you said, they're going to get beat tonight because this is a game that UNCW's always fired up for at home. My question to you guys is, statement week, like, what is obviously a good showing? 3-1 or better is a great showing. Is 2-2, is that good enough for this week?
Yeah, I think 2-2 would be acceptable. I think obviously tonight, I'm predicting them to win tonight. I would say 7-5. Coastal, you're going down there. Coastal's been slipping a little bit. They've dealt with some injuries. They lost last night, but like I said, a team that likes to get up for ECU. It'll be an electric weekend. I think 2-2 is a good target goal. Obviously, you don't want to get swept. Obviously, 1-3, but I think if you win tonight, you have the momentum going down to Coastal. That Coastal doesn't have because they just lost on Tuesday. I think if you can, win that Saturday game, win that Sunday game, 3-1, 2-2 will be a good weekend.
They're too banged up. I'm sorry,
Yep.
They're too banged up. 2-2 stuff. 2-2 stuff week. I want to see 3-1 this week. There's a lot of things I want to see this week. I want to see, Steven, you and I were talking this the other day. I can't remember if it was before the show or during the show. It's like we feel like we know the starting 9 or the starting 8. Okay, who are the depth pieces? I think we need to see some establishment of some depth pieces this week. A fourth outfielder, which I know Braden technically kind of is the fourth outfielder. But with that being said, also another infielder. I'd like to see 2 more guys step up, prove they can be a decent bat and a reliable defensive threat, whether that be Carlos Hakame, Jeff Sabater, like we mentioned. Some of those guys have been sick lately. And also, man, I would love to win the game tonight without Sean Jenkins toeing the rubber. And preferably without Nick Moran toeing the rubber. I mean, if we could go...
What are the odds of that, though?
If we could go... Look, dude, if we could go Towers, Antolik, Marley, Paxton...
You need some runs for that to happen.
I know you need some runs for that to happen, but hey, look, this is what we got to set ourselves apart. Do we really want to go to Omaha? These are the kind of things that need to happen.
I mean, I don't disagree. I just I guess the issue I have is ECU tried to get by without using Jenkins last week, and look what happened. So I think if you get up 7-2, if you're lucky enough to do that, you maybe try it again, but you got to have a short leash because you don't want that thing getting tied. With walks and free passes. So those guys got to go in. They got to earn it. All right, some comments here. To me, if we want to host, need to go 3-1 this week. If not, the ceiling will be a 2 seed unless we somehow go on a run like 22. I will say in the preseason I would have agreed with that, but this is more of a big picture discussion. But the way the conference is looking, like if you win the American, Charlotte beat UVA 14-0 last night. UTSA is ranked. If you win those series, if you go on the road at UTSA, which is going to be a top 25 team, you win that series. To me, that makes up for not winning at Coastal potentially. You've already split with one top 10 team in UNC. So I don't think this is as much of a must-win as I once thought it was. I'll say that. Like the conference actually looks pretty solid, James.
So it looks like a 3-bid league right now.
USF looks good.
USF, it looks like a 3-bid league. I saw that there was some dialogue about that on Twitter, and we haven't been able to say that about the American in years past. So
I think it kind of comes down, though, Steven. It's kind of like hindsight's going to be 20/20. And we look back on this series, we could look back on it a couple different ways. Like, I get what you're saying right now. Yes, I agree with you. But what happens if Coastal does, lose their weekend series to Georgia Southern and loses their weekend series to Troy, and then all of a sudden they're sitting 3rd, 4th in the league? If you would lose this series, does that then still kind of come back to bite you in the rear end? I think you're right now, but my worry is, and I'm not like trying to prey on Coastal's downfall, but what I'm saying is they've got injuries and they're in a tough league too. And if they don't meet expectations, then it could come back to haunt you.
I just think with their lineup guys coming back, they have championship DNA. And now I irresponsibly predicted a weekend sweep, I should say, on the podcast. That was because my bold prediction in the preseason was ECU would sweep Coastal. Now, I didn't know they would have these injuries, but if they, here's the problem. If ECU wins the series or sweeps, you know what's going to happen? they're not going to get credit for it because people are going to be like, oh, they're banged up, and the Coastal's going to follow the top 25.
Yeah, because they just lost last night to State. Yeah, so
that's my concern. But I still think your point's fair. And I mean, look, in an ideal world, I think if you beat a banged up Coastal team on the road, first I think they'll rebound by the end of the season once they get their guys back, assuming they do. And I think it'll hold weight with the committee and like the D1 baseball crew because they know at the end of the day that Coastal Carolina is a baseball, perennial baseball power. So I think there's two ways to look at it, but I think it'll hold weight either way, even if you win or you lose.
I think you just want to win every game.
I mean, that is a good way to look at it.
I think you just win every game, no matter who the opponent is, no matter what their record is, no matter what their injuries are. Just win every game.
Just be like the Red Hawks of Miami, Ohio.
Yeah,
baby.
just be what Miami, Ohio's doing.
That is true.
Win every game.
Some more comments here. Brian Wallace says Dino Nuggets for Wags.
Maybe.
Yeah, game is on Flow Sports tonight, as Kenny Curlins points out. And you can listen on 94.3 The Game or be there like James will be.
I'll be sitting outside.
Yeah, but he will be sitting outside. At least it's an evening start, not a daytime start. 2-2 is acceptable, says Spencer Scott. 3-1 is what we want. 4-0 will have us booking the Airbnb in Omaha. Brian Wallace is with Phillip. Kenny Curlin says we got to be more consistent with our bats, 5 to 8 runs a game. And Spencer also adding, I'd like to see Norby and Antolik on Fridays, Gavin Van Kempen and Sean Jenkins on Saturdays, and Weber Moran on Sundays, with Antolik available to close on Sunday as well. So, I mean, I don't disagree, but it's hard to just map out those things because you just never know week to week who's going to pitch well, et cetera.
What would you say, this is not related to that, but what would you say the target run line is tonight for like the win? I think 7. 6 or 7.
To feel like ECU comfortable with the win?
Yeah.
I would say 6 or 7, yeah. I feel like there's been some low-scoring games in Wilmington, but it always seems like it's like a 7-4,
I'm just trying to remember
6-5
last year,
type game.
I think you got to score 7. Look, I'm just going to be honest. Now, yeah, if you go out there and use Sean Jenkins for 4 innings, maybe you can get away scoring less, but it's not that I'm wishing, the other guys come in and don't pitch well. I mean, I hope the other guys come in and pitch well, win 7-2, 7-1, but if you're not using Sean Jenkins, which I don't want to use Sean Jenkins because I want him available as much as possible this weekend, I think you're going to score 7.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's fair. UNCW last year, ECU lost 9-4 in Segra. They won 10-6 at Brooksfield, and they won 7-3 in Greenville. So you're going to, I think 7 at least, historically speaking. But we'll see. It's baseball. Just when you think they need to score some runs, it'll be a 2-1 game. I mean, that's just
1-0.
It is crazy how the sport works. All right, we'll get a break in. Speaking of baseball, we are going to preview the World Baseball Classic on the other side. That begins officially tonight. There was an exhibition game last night, and people were going nuts in the Dominican Republic. We'll tell you about that, a whole lot more. This is Hoist the Colors.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arrgh! In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trust.
Oh, hey. Welcome back. You got here just in time. This is Hoist the Colors on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in. Hoist the Colors, segment 2. We're going to get into some World Baseball Classic discussion here in a second. We're all baseball fans, and it's we only get to do it once every 4 years, so we'll preview it, and that starts officially tonight and gets into pool play over the coming days. By the way, Jonathan Wagner, his bold prediction for the week is a ECU shutout at UNCW, so good luck with that. Eat some extra Dino Nuggies, Wags, to try to make it come true. So we'll see if that happens tonight. All right, guys. I'll just run down the pools. We'll kind of give a little preview of each pool play. So how this works is you have 5 teams in each pool, 4 pools. The top 2 advance to a single elimination format in the knockout stage, and then you get to the semifinals and championship. Just one game, I believe, from there on. But 2 teams from each pool, and everybody plays everybody in one pool before the advancement. So in Pool A, which is happening in Puerto Rico, San Juan, you've got Canada, Colombia, Cuba, Panama, and Puerto Rico. Now, did y'all remember Alexi Ramirez of the White Sox?
Yeah.
It sounds familiar.
Do you remember the last year? What do you think the last year he played Major League Baseball was?
2021.
2016.
Holy smokes.
He is playing for Cuba at 44 years old after 10 years of not playing MLB.
I think he bounced around.
He did bounce from the White Sox to the Padres to the Rays and is now returning for Team Cuba. He was a hero of Cuba earlier in their WBC. By the way, this is the 6th WBC, I believe, because Japan has won it 3 times, DR has won it once, and USA has won it once. So, yeah, this is the 6th.
Started in 2006, I think, right?
Yeah, World Baseball Classic. The last time in 23, Japan beat USA. The favorites in that pool to advance would be Puerto Rico and probably Canada. Yeah, you have some top talent there, although it's considered the most balanced.
I was going to say, yeah, because Cuba's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to be able to hang in all those games. I think if they still want to get one of those top 2, and then you said it's Colombia and who else?
Colombia, Panama, Canada.
I Canada. I think Canada.
You have, Edwin Diaz out of the bullpen for Puerto Rico. Nolan Arenado is on Puerto Rico. Seth Lugo, Puerto Rico. Elliot Ramos. And then Canada has Josh and Bo Naylor, Tyler O'Neill, Jamison Taillon. Colombia has Jose Quintana, Julio Teheran, Gio Urshela.
Was Freddie Freeman not playing for Canada?
I don't think so.
Okay.
And at least he's not listed. And then Cuba, you've got Alexei Ramirez. And then Panama's got a couple MLB guys, Jose Caballero and Edmundo Sosa. So I think more than likely Puerto Rico and maybe Canada would be your favorites there, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think I would take Canada out of that pool.
Pool B is in Houston. You have Brazil, Great Britain, Italy, Mexico, and the U.S. And the U.S. guys will focus on that roster. Pretty stacked.
It's pretty loaded. It's a lot better than the 2023 roster.
So this is all right, catching, you have Cal Raleigh, Will Smith. Infield, you have Alex Bregman, Gunnar Henderson, Paul Goldschmidt, Bryce Harper, Ernie Clement, Bryce Terang, Bobby Witt Jr. Outfield, Roman Anthony, Byron Buxton, Pete Crow Armstrong, Aaron Judge. DH, Kyle Schwarber. That's just your lineup. How do you set a starting nine?
You haven't even gotten to the pitching staff yet. Skeens, Scooball.
Webb.
Logan Webb. You have some guys who can eat in. Your boy Nolan
I was
McLean.
like, shout out.
Yeah, I'm surprised he made.
He's going to start
Team
the
USA.
fourth. They said he's going to start game 4.
Clayton Kershaw's on the list.
I saw Kershaw like on some clips. Like
Kershaw is. I mean, he's not even playing for the Dodgers, right? So
he's retired.
So he's literally just playing for Team USA.
Going out into the sunset.
In the bullpen, you've got Mason Miller, David Bednar, and Gabe Spire, Seattle Mariners legend. The pitching staff maybe isn't as dominant as the position players, but it's better than a lot of the teams in the Classic. So,
I mean, it's hard to get better than Skeens and Scooball.
I think the problem, though, isn't Scooball only throwing the one game and then going back. That's what I've read.
Yeah, and he's throwing like 55 pitches. And, all these guys are going to be on pitch counts, right? They're in their ramp-up season. That's going to be the tough thing. Like, you need a good bullpen. And it's not like your bullpen's got to be shut down. It's not like you're going to have to win games 2-1, I don't think. But when you do play Japan, like if Shohei's pitching, you're going to have somebody who can match him.
So, generally speaking, I think the biggest threat in this pool is Mexico. Italy won their pool a couple years ago, but Mexico, you've got some guys. Alejandro Kirk, you've got Randy Arozarena, Duran from the Red Sox. You have also Andres Munoz, flamethrower in the bullpen. Taiwan Walker from Mexico, some guys with MLB experience. So, I mean, they're solid.
Verdugo playing from Mexico? I know he's...
Verdugo, I do not see
one of his
him on
parents
the
is
roster.
Mexican.
He didn't play in the league, like MLB.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think he was on a roster last year.
So, U.S., and then, Brazil has Dante Bichette Jr., Lucas Ramirez, and a couple prospects. And Great Britain has Harry Ford, who's a former Mariners player.
They also got Jazz Chisholm, Great Britain.
That is true.
Yeah.
Kyle Till on Team Italy, who once upon a time beat ECU in a regional. He's now with who is he with? The Red Sox?
So we drafted him, and then we traded him for Garrett Crochet.
That's right.
So
the White Sox.
White Sox, yeah.
Still with the Sox, but a different color. So U.S., the clear top dog. Mexico, Italy kind of there as well. Pool C is in Tokyo. You've got Australia, Chinese Taipei, Czechia, Japan, and Korea. Japan, the obvious favorite, 3-time champion. Shohei, Yamamoto, Murakami, Akamoto, Seiya Suzuki, Yoshida. I mean,
the Dodgers roster.
But there's also probably some dudes that play in the Japanese league who we don't even know.
Yeah.
And they're just like total studs. I mean, you got to think. Ichiro had 1,000 career hits or something like that before he got here. There's some other dudes like that.
And the thing about Japan, not the U.S. isn't taking it serious this year, but like they
live for this.
They live for this.
They
man.
live for this. Yeah.
I mean, the atmosphere in Tokyo is going to be incredible.
Well, this is the thing. Just like our whole goal. Look, the Olympics, one thing mattered, right? We were cheering for all the U.S. athletes. One thing mattered: beating Canada in men's hockey. Japan, they didn't even know the Olympics were probably on because all they're thinking about is beating the United States in the World Baseball Classic. Like, everybody's got their one thing. Everybody's got their Super Bowl. This is theirs.
So, of course, you've got some studs, basically all from Team Japan in this. You do have Travis Bassana playing for Australia, who was a former top pick. And Korea, you have Young Ho Lee. And then you also have, I feel like Chinese Taipei doesn't have any stars, but they always win. Am I right on that?
I mean, they've got to be decent, right? I mean, their Little League World Series team is always like one of the best ones. So, what's probably is a lot of these guys, they're probably, if I had to guess, all the Chinese Taipei guys probably play in the KBL, which is Korean Baseball League, which is a really, really good league. It's the third best league in the world behind Major League Baseball, the Japanese league, and then you got that. So, like, I'm going on a limb and saying, like, both those teams probably have pretty damn good rosters.
So I would think, for sure, Japan is going to advance, and then it comes down to probably Chinese Taipei or Korea for the next advancement. And then the final pool in Miami, you've got the Dominican Republic, Israel, the Netherlands, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. And the favorites here are the DR and Venezuela. The DR, should I run through this, gentlemen?
Yeah.
The roster?
Yeah. All right.
Austin Wells.
Austin Wells Jr., Caminero, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Manny Machado, Ketel Marte, Jeremy Pena, Carlos Santana, Julio Rodriguez, Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis Jr., O'Neal Cruz. I mean, their position player lineup is just disgusting. Now, pitching not as strong. They do have Luis Severino, Gregory Soto, Wandy Peralta, Sir Anthony Dominguez, Brian Bayo, Red Sox pitcher Christopher Sanchez as well, Sandy Alcantara. So, I mean, they're even better on the mound than I thought. They got Camilo Duvall coming out of the bullpen. So I would say your 3 overall favorites, I'll get into Venezuela in a minute, James, but like U.S., DR, and Japan.
DR's lineup might be better than the USA.
Yeah.
It might be. Yeah, it's probably going to come down to those 3, but like Philip was saying, this is really Japan's Super Bowl. So, I mean, I want the USA to win it. I want us to, win the gold medal in hockey, then this, and then win the Summer Olympics, the basketball, and I guess LA, 2 years.
We got the World Cup this year on
home. Yeah. Well, the US, we don't care about soccer.
I know, but how cool would it be?
It would be cool, but I'm not going to get my hopes up on that. I want us to complete the trifecta, and if the World Cup happens, that'll just be the cherry on top.
There you go.
Venezuela has Salvador Perez and William Contreras as their catchers. That's pretty good. Luis Arias, Wilson Contreras in the infield, Michael Garcia, Eugenio Suarez, Gleyber Torres, Wilyer Abreu in the outfield, Ronald Acuna Jr., Jackson Churio. I mean, Venezuela's pretty stacked,
so they're pretty stacked too.
And then pitching-wise, they have Ranger Suarez, also Eduardo Rodriguez, and some other pitchers with MLB experience. So maybe not as good on the mound.
No, but hey, don't hate on this Israel roster either. Like, they'll probably be the 3rd team, but if one of those top 2, and by one of those top 2, I mean Venezuela, slips up, like, Israel's pretty dang good.
Harrison Bader, coached by Brad Ausmus, by the way, so...
I think Euclid is on that staff as well.
Yeah, they've got some guys who can play as well. Dean Kramer's a solid pitcher. Give you some. I mean, that's a lot of it comes down to, do you have enough pitching because these guys are going to be limited. So I don't know. I mean, like when Dominican Republic and Venezuela play, I don't know what time it's going to be, but I'm going to watch that because it's going to be electric.
Let's see. Stand by.
So I don't know. Any other matchups? Looking forward to any thoughts on this, James?
Yeah, I mean the Dominican Republic just. Based on last night, it's going to get me to watch it there, and that environment looked awesome. But they got some players I don't like, so I will be rooting against them. Guerrero, Juan Soto.
They're going to play with plenty of flash, though, like home runs.
They will. They'll be fun to watch, but I will be rooting against them solely based on 2 of the players on their roster.
Wednesday night, next Wednesday.
Okay.
At 8 o'clock.
All right, good time.
So it will overlap a little bit with ECU being the 10 seed and playing in their first conference tournament game, but you can dual screen it.
I will be dual screening.
I don't know if you're out. All
right. After we get done beating William and Mary in baseball.
There you go, on Flow College and 94.3 The Game. Does Japan win again, or does U.S., DR, somebody knock them off?
I'm going to pick the Japan team. They got the best player in the world. Yamamoto, I think, is probably the best pitcher in the MLB, just based on what he did in the World Series. So I'm gonna pick Japan, even though I don't want them to win, obviously.
I'm going to go Team USA. I think Team USA gets it done.
This is no knock to Aaron Judge, but I've seen teams led by Aaron Judge lose.
The captain.
When they're favored, the biggest stage. So, I'm not gonna pick them. I'm gonna expect to be disappointed.
Isaiah says that you're just mad because the Dominican Republic has a real captain in Juan Soto, who led his Washington Nationals to the 2019 World Series championship.
I don't know if you could say he led them, but
yeah, I'm with you. I don't know if he led them, but
he's
either way,
on the roster.
I'm going. Look, man. Technically, the 2 national sports of Japan are marathon running, which is the skinniest athletes, and sumo wrestling, which is the fattest athletes. However, the sport they care about the most, even if it's not a national sport, is baseball. Give me Team Japan.
Scott Lowerbatcher in the chat says La Repubblica Dominico. He's in with Dominican Republic. And Spencer Scott says Israel beat the Marlins yesterday 1-0. Intern Isaiah also going with the DR. So that's a solid pick. I was close to picking them. I just think Japan gets beat this year. And apparently Pilk got his wish. The Carolina Panthers are in the Hall of Fame game.
Is it official?
We can check that.
I had heard there was a rumor they were possibly going to be.
Who are they playing?
I don't know yet. The thing is, I thought they were maybe going to get snub's a bad word to use just because they haven't been in it since our inaugural season, but the Saints were going to get in because of Drew Brees, which I could firmly get behind. And obviously the Panthers and the Saints would not play each other in the Hall of Fame game. So, hey, Panthers, because of Luke Kuechly, it means we're probably either playing one of those NFC West teams, either the Cardinals because of Larry Fitz or maybe the 49ers because of Roger Craig.
Are you going to go?
Yeah, I said if they make the Hall of Fame game.
Arizona Cardinals.
Cardinals. Let's go. My mom will definitely go with me. Larry Fitz is her favorite player of all time, and then she's a Panthers fan. So I know that I can get my mom to go if nothing else.
Thursday, August 6th at 8 p.m., the Hall of Fame game. So let's do it. That might be before we return with the show after our summer hiatus. So that'll give you the chance to get away. All right, let's get a break in. We'll come back. We'll talk about the big letter from the University of Louisville yesterday. Just some thoughts on that. If the University of Louisville is coming out with this in the state of college athletics, I think it warrants a broader discussion on what we're doing, what changes could we see in the coming years. What does this mean? We'll get into that on the other side. This is Hoist the Colors.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you farm to fork beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to fork beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown. At National Finance, we're all about hometown support, just like ECU football. National Finance helps us win on and off the field. They've got your back when you need it most. Fast, easy personal loans for life's big plays. And just like us, they're committed to Eastern North Carolina. National Finance, proud supporters of ECU athletics. Visit nfcmoney.com for loans as fast as today.
Make every day electric on the Kawasaki Electro 20 electric balance bike. Maximize the fun with long run times, impressive top speed, and Kawasaki build quality. Easy adjustability and smooth handling make everyday riding more enjoyable. And the standard MTB type tires provide off-pavement capability. The Kawasaki Electro 20 is the electric balance bike that's built to rip. Go to Ron Ayers Motorsports, Memorial Drive north of the airport, Greenville.
Like all pirates, Stephen Igo is loyal and bold. He may also have a touch of scurvy. Back to Hoist the Colors on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in third segment. More of a big picture discussion here. We've taken several different directions. The University of Louisville president, director of athletics, and the chairman of the board of trustees released a big letter on Wednesday. And look, this is a very long read, but I think it's worth it if you got the time. Basically, the title says, "From the arena, not the sidelines, college athletics is running out of time." I'll just read the first paragraph here. It says the Ohio State Athletic Department lost $37.7 million in fiscal year 2024. Penn State is now the most leveraged public athletic department in the country, carrying $534 million in athletics-related debt. Rutgers has accumulated $516.9 million in total athletic losses since joining the Big Ten in 2014. And Louisville, a program that generates $1.28 billion annually in economic impact for our city and Commonwealth, is running a $12.5 million deficit, with reserves drawn down from $34 million to $3.4 million. So this goes on and on about basically just the state of college athletics and how all these programs, except for the very elites of the elite, like probably Ohio State, Michigan, Texas.
Well, didn't say Ohio State's in debt.
Yeah, they're losing money too. So, like, even though they're printing millions of dollars,
those oil schools.
Yeah, everybody's losing money. So it's just like everybody's just spending
way too much money on players. I think if the Louisville, who'd you say wrote this? Like the board, like
the president AD, and board of trustees, so basically their entire leadership.
I think it's not. I mean, if it was just like one random Louisville journalist writing some piece on this, I'd be like, okay, like whatever. But the fact that these guys are writing it, I mean, it does. I think it does say something. The NCAA and football and college basketball definitely not in the best spot right now when it comes to NIL and all that other stuff. I mean, that goes without saying. Everyone knows that right now. But I think the only way you can really stop this, I think you got to propose, a salary cap. I think that might have to come into play. Limit the amount of times a player can transfer. I think maybe make them sit out a year if they transfer, like they used to do. They got to try something, I think, at this point. But also, spending all this money does not exactly equate to winning.
Yes.
Texas and Texas A&M spend a lot of money, and Texas A&M made the playoff this year. They put up 3 points and lost a home game to Miami. Texas made the playoff the previous year, and they lost to Ohio State in the semifinal, and they weren't even really that good that year. So money doesn't equate to winning.
Here's my proposal. Until the postseason, nobody, except for men's basketball or football, should step foot on a plane. Regionalize conferences for non-revenue sports. I don't want to hear this. It's too hard with branding because we're in the Big Ten in football and something else in every other sport. Suck it up. Who cares? Because you know what? That little extra branding is a hell of a lot cheaper than flying girls tennis from Maryland to UCLA. Just saying.
I mean, it's really so. Louisville in this piece, the leadership at Louisville, I should say, lays out 3 things that must happen. The first is congressional action, basically saying that Congress needs to get involved in some way. The second is governance, as far as somebody ruling over, like it's supposed to be the NCAA, but actual leadership over college athletics. So they're saying basically the NCAA's hamstrung, can't do anything. And the third thing is salary cap and the enforcement of the salary cap, which, is a whole different topic. There are some rules in place now that are not enforced. So, like, those 3 things sound good in theory, but it's just like, how do you execute them? You have so many different layers to college athletics. You've got the conferences. You've got public institutions. You've got state rules that are different across the landscape. You've got private institutions that can kind of do their own thing. So it's like, unlike the NFL or NHL or these leagues that have, similar, institutions or organizations everywhere, like there's different layers to college. So it's just like, how does everybody come together and agree on one thing? Because you have these things being like, for me, it says a lot that Louisville, which is kind of ironic that they have cheated for years and been caught doing it, and they never had a problem with it until now. They're losing a bunch of money, so now they write this. So I think that says a lot too. That if Louisville's writing this, then there's a lot of other people that feel the same way.
I was also going to say, I feel like it's kind of also hard to feel bad for some of. I mean, like, I feel bad for, like Philip said, like the women's tennis team that has to fly from Maryland to LA when they're playing UCLA or whatever. But like these schools that are spending all these millions of dollars on football, like Ohio State, Louisville, like you mentioned, who cheated for all those years. I'm sure there's a lot of, dirty money involved with those SEC teams, during, like, before NIL. But like another, and then like Rutgers isn't good at football, basketball. What does Rutgers spend all this money on that they're in debt this much?
They're flying to LA.
They had two top 5 picks in the NBA draft 2 years ago, and they missed the tournament.
But that's the thing is everybody's spending so much in the Big Ten. They feel they're basically telling their athletic department's telling the university, hey, we have to keep spending this money to be relevant, and yet they're not getting the results, which means they probably got to spend more. But like $516 million in debt is why this is all so stupid. To be honest, like they're paying that much money for these results.
The solution for them might just be moving to the Big East, back to the Big East, or even to the ACC. I think would be their
Well, I mean, you're still flying to California. Here's another thing. Look, what I'm about to say, I'm not entirely educated on, and people are not going to like this. Do you think that universities actually net in the black or in the red for televising non-revenue sports?
I mean, definitely in the red.
I think in the red. I mean, look, when you watch a non-revenue game, and I understand it's important for these parents to watch their kids play and grandma to watch the kids play. I'm not saying we 100% get rid of it, but when you watch lacrosse, look at the commercials. There's a commercial for East Carolina University. There's a commercial for the American Conference, and then like Town Bank. Like local businesses are putting money into this. Like Town Bank's not seeing that return on investment. They're just generously trying to help East Carolina because they care about East Carolina. They've proven they care about East Carolina. But when grandma that lives in New Jersey is seeing a commercial from Town Bank, she's not switching her bank to Town Bank. She lives in New Jersey. So we have local businesses that care enough about our programs to help out, but they're still netting in the red. And I'm not saying take lacrosse and softball and all that off there, but if it comes down to that should be one of your last cuts. But if it comes down to that, again, first regionalize the conferences. Yes, worry about the salary cap, but even before they were paying athletes, man, teams were operating in the red. I remember I had a friend do his senior paper on how many universities' athletic departments actually net in the black, and the answer was 10. Because this is when it was starting to happen. You know, should athletes get paid? And he's like, look, I'm not saying athletes shouldn't get paid for being in the NCAA video game, but the schools can't pay them. Only 10 of athletic departments net in the black. So clearly something's got to change. Again, the first thing and the easiest thing, non-revenue sports. Yes, I'm sorry, women's basketball counts as a non-revenue sport, and so does baseball. No planes, no flights, regionalized conferences. Our baseball conference should be Wilmington, Coastal, us, ODU, Charlotte, App.
Heck, put the North Carolina schools and the ACC in there. I mean, that would be a heck of a baseball league.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, so like that's the thing is some people, for this to happen, some people would have to swallow their pride and say, hey, baseball, let's regionalize it. Obviously, the other lacrosse, let's regionalize it. Softball, let's regionalize it. And it would just save so much money. And you could keep, in this scenario, you could keep your football conferences or men's basketball conferences. You know, they have to figure out how to do that with women's basketball as well. And at least then you would cut down on these expenses of sending UCLA lacrosse or whatever they play, UCLA softball to Michigan State, you know.
And think how much more money you're going to make at the gate, too. Is East Carolina going to make more money at the gate when NC State shows up for a baseball weekend or when UTSA shows up for a baseball weekend?
So you're losing money in two different directions.
Yeah. I mean, the same thing, dude. Like, look, would you? Like, I'm gonna be honest. I have no desire to go to an away ECU conference basketball game other than Charlotte. But if we played conference games against, because I'd go to Wilmington anyways for the out of conference game. If our conference was Wilmington, and which I know we're saying basketball, keep it more, you know, but still, I think we could do. Hey, let's all put kind of group of 5 schools, even in a conference in men's basketball. Like, let's instead of us being with UTSA, like let's get App and then put UTEP and UTSA in the same league. Kind of do some trading off. Like, I'm much more likely to go to App than I am to San Antonio.
You got that side of it where you probably need to regionalize non-revenue sports. And then you have the other side where you now have a section of college football who are wanting to pull together the media rights deal and make more money over it collectively. But that would mean the SEC and Big Ten would get probably less money than they do now. So, of course, they're pushing back on it. But you've got schools in the ACC, the Big 12, the American who say, hey, let's do this college football media rights deal together. You would still have some, you know, compensation based on viewership success. But at the end of the day, I just think you have too many people that want too many different things. I don't know how this ever is going to work is my biggest
it comes down to that second thing, because I loved that second paragraph when I read it this morning. The governing body, not the federal government. I'm saying the federal government, state governments can't help out. The NCAA hadn't governed a damn thing ever. I don't know who's in the NCAA office, but they need to be canned. Every single one of them, because they don't do a flipping thing. They never have. They never will. We need real people that know what the heck they're doing in there to actually govern this thing. You know what they govern? They govern that 60-18 basketball tournament that's going to start in 2 weeks, and that's great. They do a hell of a job, but they don't do
say they're going to expand it.
Oh my goodness! Don't even be started on. I'm going to get us all FCC fined if I start talking about expansion of that.
Next segment.
Yeah, it's all about the dollar, and until people can put their egos aside and put some dollars in the, just forget thinking about the most money possible for a second and think about the greater good, which will probably never happen, then we'll be stuck in this situation. All right, we got to get our final break in. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the show after this.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors, with locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow-cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked-to-order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in Color and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today.
Hoist the sail! Climb aboard as we set sail and hoist the colors.
Ahoy, me hearties!
Back to Steve and Igo on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in. Final few minutes of the show. James Giglio hanging out, Phil Pilkin as well, intern Isaiah. A couple notes here. ECU softball in action. They take on Campbell tonight, then host Wichita State. They're 14-8, so the ladies, I know they lost Sarah Stone to an injury recently, but they're doing well, coming off a good week. The women's basketball team, they take on Tulsa on the road March 7th, this Saturday in the regular season finale, but they are wrapped up with the number 2 seed. They'll go to the conference tournament from there in Birmingham. James Giglio, will the ECU men's basketball team, will they be in Birmingham for the conference tournament?
I'm going to say they will.
You think so?
I think they will. I think they're going to win Thursday in Minges against Tulsa. I think it's going to be the win of the year, best win of the year. I think they're going to right the ship. I think Memphis, based on what I saw from them on Sunday, they don't care. Like Penny Hardaway all year, his whole theatrics, he was quiet as a mouse on Sunday.
He didn't even react.
He didn't do anything and then they got their butt kicked on Sunday, and I think they quit. I think they quit on the season. I think they're going to lose out, and I think ECU's going to win it. I know I'm saying a lot, but I think ECU does make it.
So you were in Minges for the game. We got about a minute left. You got to interview Mike Schwartz after the press conference. He talked about returning.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts on that and kind of, his anything notable in the press conference after?
He talked a lot about the seniors because it was the designated senior night. Jordan Riley, he had another phenomenal game. But in regards to him coming back another year, at first I was kind of like, okay, like what are we doing? But if you look at ECU's records in year past, they won 19 games last year, and they were a Yaxel Lindenborg career game from maybe going to the next round. And I think you give him one more year. I think it's fair to do, and I think he really cares about the school. Based on what I've seen just in press conferences, I think he kind of maybe understands the fan base a little bit more than people think he does. And at the end of the day, even if you do fire him, who do you bring in? Because I know you mentioned it, still paying Mike Houston. Then you'd be paying him if you did fire him, or Schwartz if you did fire him. So, that's a lot of dead money right there going to people who aren't even here. So I don't mind bringing him back for another year.
Certainly a prove-it year either way, and we'll see how the Pirates attack the offseason, whether they make the tournament or not. I'm honestly looking forward to having some offseason discussion about where the roster goes. Of course, it'll be a complete rebuild. But
so pick who you want.
Yeah,
this year, yeah.
Exactly. All right, we are out of time. James, appreciate it, man. Good job with the pink shirt. Enjoy Wilmington tonight. And you may find them in downtown Wilmington. You never know.
Maybe.
If you're in that neck of the woods. So we'll see how the Pirates do in their beginning to statement week. That's James Gilio. I appreciate Philip Pilkin and intern Isaiah as well. We'll be back 12 noon tomorrow to break down the game. Also look ahead to ECU Tulsa on the hardwood for men's basketball coming up tomorrow night.